My name is Mikkal Karim Fidler, and I play Teddy Uris in It, Welcome to Derry. You've been watching Pop Culture with Pat.
What's your favorite scary movie?
Hey guys, welcome back to Pop Culture with Pat. I'm so excited to be joined by today's guests. Today I'm talking to Mikkal Kareem Fidler, who plays Teddy in It, Welcome to Derry. Mikkal, thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you for inviting me here. I'm honored.
Yeah, you're very welcome. I'm super excited to talk to you about the show. Been really enjoying it so far. I'm going to give a spoiler warning for everyone just in case you're not caught up. This will spoilers for episodes one and two. So make sure that you watch those before watching this interview. But yeah, just Mikkel, to start things off, as far as for you, can you just talk about what your audition process was like for the role?
Mhm.
Did you only audition for Teddy, or was there any other
No.
characters that you went for?
I actually originally went out for Phil, Teddy's friend in the show, Teddy's best friend in the show. I went out for Phil, and they said it was good, but I should try and go for Teddy. So then I went out for Teddy, and then there was a callback with another scene, and then after I did the callback, we waited quite a while, actually, I think about a month or so, and then we got the email saying we got the role.
Awesome. When what information? Because I imagine you probably didn't get a whole lot, but what information did you get about the character of Teddy kind of initially?
So I got that Teddy was sort of a reserved and more quiet type of person, which is heavily contrasted by his best friend Phil.
Okay.
And yeah, he's more reserved, quiet. He's very studious and he's very smart. And he is one of the kids that tries to stop Pennywise the clown.
Yeah, we definitely see that in the first episode when he's trying to work on his homework there, where
Mhm.
Phil has his mind on other things in the first episode. And
Yeah.
what helped you kind of get into your character's mindset for this series? Was there any kind of particular preparation that you did for the role?
Well, other than just memorizing my lines and making sure I was fully 100% like memorized with the script and the scenes I'd been given, I tried to really put myself into the mindset of Teddy. Because Teddy is younger than me. He is, there's no specified age for him, but in the script it said he was 13 and I played him when I was early 14. So I just sort of tried to really think back to when I was 13, and I really thought to myself, like, to be sort of a quiet, um, I was sort of just trying to get myself into the character based on the information we'd got with the audition. So I was putting myself in the mindset of being quiet, reserved, non-confrontational, and like that type of person. So I practiced that a little bit around the house. And yeah.
Now, were you familiar at all with any of the other iterations of it up to this point, whether it's like the 1990 miniseries or either it Chapter 1 or it Chapter 2 coming into this project?
Yeah, I was actually quite familiar with it. Once I got the call back and I realized I had a serious chance of getting it, I like decided like I need to start studying this material. So I watched both of the movies, It Chapter 1 and It Chapter 2. Unfortunately, I couldn't find the miniseries, but I watched like 4 or 5 video essays about it
Yeah,
and reviews of it, and then I read the book as well.
it's
So
no
I'm
easy
quite
small
familiar
task.
with the material. Pardon me?
I was just saying that's no small task reading the book because that's definitely one
Yeah,
of
it's
King's bigger
huge.
books.
Yeah. So I like it took a while for me to like get through. I was only about a quarter way through when I arrived on set and we started filming. So by the time I finished, I was about I'd say 90% through.
Wow.
Yeah.
And so in the series, why do you think it is that Teddy seems to be more shaken up about what has happened to Matty compared to some of the other characters? Why does it kind of
Mhm.
affect him so much?
I think Teddy is a very, I'll say like kind and like nice soul. He's he's very nice and he's very mature as well. He realizes that like it could have been Teddy and Phil's, like they could have had a part in Maddie's eventual disappearance. And he realizes that he sort of needs to face his guilt and look it straight on in order to heal. And I think Phil is still in a little bit of denial, which is why he refuses to talk about Maddie with Teddy. So I think Teddy's a bit more of a sympathetic soul. And he definitely feels I think he feels more guilt or the same amount of guilt as the others. But he shows it in a different way.
Yeah, do you think that's why for I guess for the same thing too with Lily, he seems to be a little bit more willing to believe what her experience, what happened with thinking that she
Mhm.
heard or saw Matty compared to Phil, because he's kind of quick to dismiss that. But Teddy,
Yeah.
even though he kind of dismisses that at the end, you see that he kind of like I want to believe her.
Yeah, I think that's very solid evidence. Teddy is throughout the episode, he is really feeling it. As like because I think all the kids think the same thing. They think it was all partly their fault that Maddie disappeared. Um, but I think Teddy feels it in a different way because Teddy and Phil, as demonstrated by the scene in the school, the graffiti on his locker, and also just by background notes, Teddy isn't very well liked. So I think Teddy can put himself into the shoes of Maddie because Maddie is a bit of an outsider as well.
Yeah.
And because he was rejected and sort of pushed away by Teddy, Phil, and also Lily eventually, I think Teddy really feels the guilt and sort of feels that that could have been him.
Yeah, and you can definitely see that in the couple scenes with you guys and Mikel. One of the most iconic locations in the story of it is the Standpipe. So, can you
Hmm.
talk about getting to film at that iconic location for your
Yeah.
episode?
Yeah, it was pretty nice. A lot of the scenes they had it deconstructed. So there was half of the sandpipe in a sort of semicircle like this. And then back here, there was this huge, like behind it, there was this huge deck that was sort of suspended like 30 feet off the ground with all the like tech. There was like a little hair area, video village, seating area. So it was really cool to see all the tech involved with making what seems to be like a simple building.
Yeah,
All the tech, there were so many blue screens, green screens, so much lighting, and it was just really cool to like see it as well because the set was built, a lot of the set was built by hand and like built, it wasn't, CGI, like a lot of it was physically there.
physical location.
So it was really cool to see it and sort of hang around there in the studio during our free time and our off time.
Yeah, it was cool. I'm glad that we got to spend a good amount of time at that location from what we've seen in the series so far. And
Hmm.
one of your scare scenes, the
Hmm.
lampshade scene. Can you
Hmm.
talk about filming that particular scene and was there like an actual lamp there that you had to
Yeah.
react off of, or was there anything that kind of wasn't there that you had to pretend was there in the scene?
Yeah, so the process that we filmed it with is we filmed the entire scene twice. So we filmed the first time we filmed the whole sequence with like the light turning on and like me getting scared, falling off the bed, crawling under the desk, all that with a normal lamp. And then we did that entire process again after we got a good take on the first one with the sort of scary version of the lamp. So I'll admit, like it was a little odd, when we were filming it the second time because I had to just turn it on and like look at it as if it was normal, even though, because the team that constructed it, they did a really good job. It was really quite disturbing and pretty like revolting to look at. But yeah, so that's the process with which we filmed it. There was a lot of camera angles that were involved with it. A
Yeah, I
lot
can
of
imagine.
camera work, complicated camera work, especially with that scene where I fell off the bed and landed on the ground. We had to do a whole bunch of takes with that because Andy, the director, he just wanted to like make sure the camera angle is perfect, all that. So that was fun.
And how was it seeing it all put together for the final product when you were able to watch it for the first time with everything in there?
It was pretty crazy, honestly, because a while ago they showed us pre-roll footage. And everything seemed like good. It looks cool. But it was honestly a little shocking to me that so much had changed after the pre-roll footage. Like for example, when they showed me the lampshade, you could see like fully there was an operator with a pole that was moving the lamp and he
Yeah.
was sort of sitting at the corner of the bed. And then in the shot where the lamp rolls around the corner of the bed, he's not there. There's like zero evidence that he's there. And I was so surprised. The plane, especially the scene with the plane landing at the airbase, that changed a lot from pre-roll. And I think the biggest scene that changed, or the scene that had the most change, was the like mutant baby flying out of the screen and flying all over the theater.
Oh yeah, I can imagine. And but
Yeah.
movie magic, it's crazy what they can, do with that kind of stuff. And
Yeah.
for you, Mikkel, when
Mhm.
you have to act terrified, pretend when there's not a lot there to kind of work off, how do you get to that point of being so terrified per particular scene? How do you kind of approach those moments?
Um, I put myself in the character's shoes. I just think in my head and sort of internalize how I would be reacting if there was this giant bat monster baby flying at me and eating my friends. And if sometimes if that doesn't work, like if the scene that I'm trying to visualize just isn't scary or doesn't relate to me personally, then I'll change it and make it more relatable to myself. So for example, for the lampshade scene, I'll admit I'm a bit of an arachnophobe. Um, so for the lampshade scene, instead of imagining a lampshade, I just sort of internalized like, what if there were 100 spiders like crawling towards that under the desk or something? So
Yeah.
sort of using that imagery in my mind and sort of internalizing that can really help, I find with like acting scared and being terrified.
So if it was to show up to you in reality, then it sounds like he
Mhm.
would come after you as being a bunch of arachnids or something then.
Yeah, or maybe just one big one, like from the books.
Yeah, yeah, that's very true. And what was, speaking of the demon baby scene, so what was
Mhm.
kind of your, before we get to the actual filming of it, what was your reaction to reading that in the script for the first time? Because I'm sure that must have been quite shocking just to read it.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy when I first read it. I read it and my first thought was like, that's really graphic and that's crazy. And then my second thought was, I can't wait to film this.
Yeah.
Like, it's like I was super excited. I was super excited to film it because I had never had the opportunity to do something so like outlandish and like just flat out gross before. So I was really thrilled to be able to do that and put that on the screen.
Yeah. And could you talk about the experience of actually getting to film it with the rest of those guys? Because,
Hmm.
yeah, I mean, the internet's been talking about that scene now ever since it's gotten released. I knew watching it, I was like, as soon as people see this, this is going to be between the opening and the ending of this episode is going to be stuff that people aren't going to forget anytime
Hmm.
soon. So I'm sure you guys must have had a blast filming it.
Yeah, it was really great. There was a lot of takes, retakes, and like different angles, different lighting. There was so much involved with filming that one sequence. I think it took about a week of, it was the first thing we filmed actually. It was the first thing we filmed when we got to set. I think it took about a week or so of just filming at that location. And there was so much different, really cool and kind of silly moments. I think the thing that's most memorable to me is there's one shot where it's sort of through the POV of this like monster baby as
Yeah.
it flies over our heads. And what they did for that is they hooked up a camera to a crane and they sort of swung it over the thing, over the seats. But they said for safety reasons, they can't do it really fast because it had to fly low. So they did it really slow. And they said, just like act in slow motion. And then they were going to speed it up in post. So we had this sort of pretty silly moment where all of us were like pretending to like run around and like be terrified, but we had to do it at like 25% speed. So it was like, yeah, it was pretty funny filming that.
And was that because it's so quick at the end where and it was kind of dark at times to see like the characters. Was that what is that Teddy that ends up getting splattered against the projector screen?
Yeah, that was Teddy. That
Okay.
was also really fun to film. It took a long time though. I think it took like a full day to film just that one like half second, millisecond shot. A lot of fake blood involved.
I was gonna say, how
Um,
involved were you with that? Because I imagine obviously they probably used some like CGI or something to do some of that. Were you covered in blood for that scene, or how did that
yeah.
kind of work?
Yeah. So for the parts that I was involved in, I was physically filming everything up until when the baby tackles me. Um, and then that part where I get dragged and lifted into the air, that was a combination of like a dummy and CGI.
Yeah.
Or actually, I think there was a stunt actor involved as well. And then for the part where I get my face splattered against the window, that was a full day of filming. They like covered me in blood. They had like this little plastic, I guess, balsamic bottle, like or vinegar bottle with just fake blood, and they would just squirt it all over my hair after each take, and then like let it drip down, and they like would brush it out of my eyes. And then we filmed it in reverse. So they pressed my face up against the glass, and they had me on a chair or a dolly rather. And then they would pull back the dolly, and then I would have to fall off the dolly onto a mat. And then they would reverse the footage so it looks like I come flying up and smash into the window.
I'm sure it must have been fun to try and get all the blood and everything out of your hair and off your skin and clothes afterwards.
Oh, sure. It dries very quickly. It
Yeah.
dries very quickly. So by the time I was home back at the accommodations we were in, I had to like scrape it off my face with a toothbrush, and like I spent like 4 hours in the shower
Jeez.
trying to get it out of my hair. But
Well,
yeah,
in the end, it came out great. So I'm sure, yeah,
yeah,
I'm sure it probably wasn't actually too fun when you were cleaning up, but it came out great and everyone loves the scene. So it worked out
yeah.
in the end. And as far as just, I mean, you guys have an incredible cast here, all the kids that you got to work with on the
hmm
series. Can you talk about just some of your other favorite memories that come to the top of your mind as far as getting to work with them here?
hmm Honestly, Jack, him and I were really good friends off camera, which I think actually supplemented our relationship on camera.
Yeah,
So it was super nice getting to know him and like talking with him, hanging out with him. And that goes for all the other actors as well. Clara Stack is a very talented actor.
yeah.
So it was really, really interesting and really, really cool to see her work and try and analyze it and try and learn stuff from it because she's an amazing actor. And I actually remember, I think everyone in the cast of kids, even though a lot of the scenes I don't have with them, I have amazing memories with them, like eating lunch with them, talking with them, and like watching their scenes. It was really, really fun.
So you got to see some of the stuff that even like after your character, were you down there on set and got to watch some of their stuff?
Oh yeah, there's they filmed a lot of different scenes on the same day. So a lot of the time when I was on break, for example, Blake or Clara would be filming another scene and I could just sit in Video Village and watch and then
That's a lot of fun.
congratulate them after.
Yeah.
And it was super great to see them all like work because they're all extremely talented actors and there's a lot that I could learn from them.
Oh yeah, for sure. I think all of you guys have a really bright future here. It's first for a lot, I think actually most of the you guys that I think it's my first time seeing you, so I can't wait to see what you
hmm
guys do next. And yeah, how is it stepping into this world, created by Stephen King? It's such a massive world, and I love how in this
hmm
series we get to see some characters and aspects from other series start coming in here,
Yeah.
and it's just stepping into the 1960s as well.
hmm I think this series is really creative in terms of the Stephen King universe. It's a crazy universe. It's crazy with the
It is.
Dark Tower, the Mist, like all the different aspects of it. And a lot of them actually come together into this series. So, for example, fans of the Stephen King universe will know Dick Hallorann is heavily featured here,
Yep.
with his shining abilities that are pretty plot significant. There's some pieces of the trailer that showcase a little bit of The Mist, which is another great Stephen King series. But yeah, I think I'm super fortunate to be a part of this because it's a really complex, interesting, and pretty weird universe, and I'm just super glad to have sort of made my little mark in it.
It was crazy too, because watching this episode, the first episode for the first time, I'm coming into this thing and then we meet you guys, your characters, and I'm sitting there going, "Oh yeah, this must be like the new version of the Loser Club. We're gonna follow these characters throughout the rest of the season." And then they kill a bunch of you guys off in this first episode, and I was like,
Yeah,
"Wait, whoa, I was not expecting that."
yeah, yeah. I
And I
think
know, and obviously I won't ask you about like, future episodes, but I know even though characters are dead, that doesn't always necessarily mean anything. You know, we've seen people who are dead come back, be used for different purposes. So fingers crossed, hopefully we see you later, you know, maybe later on pop up in the show. Was there
Yeah.
ever any moments for you, Mikkel, where you were actually genuinely scared or freaked out while filming any particular scenes or anything?
There was one moment which I remember fondly. It was like short term. It was a very short term scare. But Andy, the director, he's very very playful, very fun to be around on set. And I remember just during one of the scenes with the lampshade, he's just sort of burst through the door like while we were still filming and just started like yelling at me. Like just like just like sort of yeah running at me and yelling at me and it was pretty funny and pretty scary
Yeah,
so yeah I wouldn't say there was any times where I was terrified or like you know
but you got a good jump scare.
horrified but yeah few good jump scares and
And I
silly
can
moments on set.
I can understand, especially if you were kind of doing a scene and you weren't expecting someone else to come through, you know, bursting through a door or something like that. So I mean, that
uh,
probably would have caught me off guard too. But yeah, Mikkel, to wrap things up for you, is there anything else you'd like to say about your experience just working on the series, and then where can fans stay up to date with you moving forward in the future?
mhm. Honestly, the only thing that I can say about me working on the series is it was a life-changing experience, and I will be forever grateful for the opportunity to make my mark on the Stephen King universe and also work with these talented actors and amazing director. So I'm just forever grateful that I was able to be part of this as sort of a launching pad for my career. So if you'd like to keep up with me, go ahead and follow my Instagram account. It is my full name, Mikkal Karim Fidler. And yeah, I'm on Instagram, so go ahead and follow if you'd like to see more.
Perfect. Well, I'll make sure to put that down below in the description. That way people can give you a follow there. And yeah, Mikkel, I mean, I think you definitely made your mark. Congratulations on the series. I can't wait to see what's next for you, and you're welcome back anytime in the future.
Okay, thank you so much. My name is Mikkal Karim Fidler, and I play Teddy Uris in It, Welcome to Derry. You've been watching Pop Culture with Pat.